If you looked at my life, you see what I see. Pitfalls, brick walls, all of this in front of me. Strain on my brain from the pain that's up under me. Strange days, but I can't change what becomes of me. Trials and tribulations, I was raised in segregation. Not from colors, but from neighborhood and gang affiliations. This what I was facing, coming up in Revelations. By the age of 14, introduced me to the banging. Stranger was my homeboy, Snoopy was my OG. Rudy was a shot caller, Tweety was the BG. This was 89 when the murder rate was critical. East Los Angeles was scandalous and physical. I was right there in the middle of it all, trying to find my way of life, and I sacrificed it all. Taught me everything about the game I need to know. This is how it goes. Yeah. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Hold on. All right, here we go. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Welcome everyone to the G-Lew Show After Hours Live. I am G-Lew. Hold up. There we go. Welcome everyone to the show. I am G-Lew. Tonight we got a very special guest. He's coming back for the second time. He really doesn't need any introduction, but I'll give you one. His name is Big Bandit from Lowell Street in El Sereno, California. Formerly of Lowell Street, the Greenlight, one of the first greenlit gangs. Held their own. Went to prison for many years. Now he's home. He's wrote a book. It's a bestseller in my eyes. You know what I mean? Just not quite on the New York Times or LA Times bestsellers list, but it's getting there soon. But it's a really good guy right here. Family man, a great father, husband, solid homeboy. You know what I mean? Always stood down, still here to this day. And so without any further ado, I'm gonna welcome to the show my homeboy Tony Alvarado, aka Big Bandit, is here.
What's going on?
Good evening, homie. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. Man, thank you for having me again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an honor, bro. Let me just say that first and foremost. It's an honor to have you on my show. Like I said, from the first time we met, but before that, I read the book. Just intrigued, and like I said, we've become good homeboys. You're a good homie of mine, and it's just an honor. I've seen all the progress, man. I've been seeing you doing your thing. Like the book has been blowing up. He's been on a lot of platforms, like, you know what I mean, doing his thing. You know what I mean, and I'm just proud of the homie. He has a part 2. Well, not a part 2. I don't know if you would call it part 2, but a second book called The Red Light, I believe. And he has the audio book coming as well for his book, Greenlight. So again, Tony Alvarado was here. And like, you know, he was here before. We had part 1. We talked about a lot of things, even though some things were unclear or uncertain because we were kind of all over the place. So, but I don't want to dig too much into what we already did. I want to kind of move forward. But what we will do, homie, is give them like a brief overview of everything, what you want to get them up to date on, the people who are new or whatever. You just want to whatever you want to tell the people, homie, before we get started.
Yeah, so a lot has happened from the first interview. A lot of positive things, a lot of plans, projects have came. This is the first book. It's hitting good, and not just in California, but other states and around the world now. Thanks to YouTube and your interview with Street TV. Tomorrow, Cinemel's dropping some. But I like the live interview because they're able to see me.
Right.
And so A lot has happened. I did photo shoot for my third book, which I'm gonna rewrite that book. There's things that have happened that I'm gonna vamp it up, but that's further down the line. It's been going so good with the first book that the publishing company decided to bring the second book instead of having it out by July, August. It's already in printing, and
Mm,
yeah, any day I just give the approval. That's the way I like the book,
mhm.
which that's this one. Um, that's
Is
Red
that
Light.
the red light? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Red Light. It's a controversial book as well because it has to do with the red light in prison, and it has to. It's the intro is on the Bulldogs, Fresno Bulldogs, but I do a spin-off off of it, which is a fiction story, and it's based on me and my brothers, and that's where my creative writing comes. And
Okay. Hold on. Not to cut you off, I want to interject right there. And real pack. Oh, shout out to Love Machine. He says he's a real Packer fan. That's what's up. Let me interject right there. Tell us first, what was it that made you want to write about, being this your second or third book? Call it the red light book, and focus on Fresno. Um, what made you want to do that? And like you just kind of said, that's where your art, your creative writing comes into play. So this is a plan, you something you wanted to do to branch off, opposed to just the norm, and do different types of writing, opposed to just being what they think, once you do the prison book, like that's all you have. You want to branch out and do other things.
so for those that have never done time in prison, there's a prison gang called the Fresno Bulldogs, and I learned from them when I got to Wasco Reception Center, and that's where I started hearing of Fresno Bulldogs. They weren't riding with the North, they weren't riding with the South. They were riding on their own, basically. But through just hearing conversations with them, um, I noticed that they were bringing out the word red light. I've never heard of it. I've only heard of the green light. So now that I had brought out my book, somebody had asked me the question: is there a such thing as a yellow light and a red light? And I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what? I've heard of the red light. Maybe I could do like a spin-off off of my book. And but the intro of that book, it's nonfiction. The intro is real. That's what's going on with them. And I've done time with a founder from the Bulldogs, and when I was in Folsom, Corcoran, and I've sold up with one that it was he was he wasn't banging no more,
Right.
and I learned a lot from them. I have family that lives in Fresno. My family used to go and play soccer up there. So my homeboy Flacco, rest in peace. He had a sister that lived in Fresno. So I more or less knew a little bit of them. I knew that half of them were not riding with the North or the South. So I knew some of it. And I figured, you know what, since I did a green light, why not do another controversial book on the red light and do a spin-off off of it and see where it goes. And
Right.
I wanted to include my brothers, but just the story is fiction. It's not even who my brothers are.
Right.
It's just I'm just using their faces. You know what I mean? But it's a spin-off, and it's a fiction book.
Let me ask you this right quick, Tony. Let me interject, because I don't know if this is a misconception, or you, because you mentioned first and foremost the Bulldogs, like you said, which were their own entity, pretty much like a green light but red light. Um, but besides the Bulldogs, and like even like homies going to prison, like speaking of homies from Southern California, is it a misconception about not only Bulldogs but Norteños or whatever? Because you're made to thought that's the enemy, and this and that, but that's more so a prison thing. Is there even any knowledge of Norteños, or Bulldogs, or people up north, before going to prison, that homies knew about, or that you knew about it, that you heard about?
No, not until I hit prison.
Right. Okay.
Well, like I said, my homeboy Flaco had a family up there, right? And we thought at first when I was younger, I thought they were Northerners, but
Right.
no, they're Central Cali. Yeah, they're Central Cali. If you look at it in the map, they're Central Cali,
Right.
and they run on their own. To this day, since the '80s, they run on their own. I'm not gonna speak up on how their activities are, or no. I
Mm.
just the intro is what I know, and you know what I mean. It's solid because I did time with them, and then but I speaking up on how they function and or their structure, I don't know. I won't speak up on that. But yeah, I just figured out, since I have a green light book, let's do a red light.
Right. 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 What is the
Yes.
like the reception been from people like any if you have heard any from like any bulldogs or homies up north or in Central Cali about you doing the book?
I haven't yet. I haven't yet, but I'm sure doing time with, I used to call him my little brother, you know what I mean? Stevie from Fresno. Everybody knows him. I put him in my book. I call him little Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if you read my book, you'll know what I mean by that. But I met him in Folsom. I met him in the ring. He's got mitts on him. He's 5'3", height, all muscle, cut up, and they struck him out in prison over a smear of dope. That's when
Mm.
the three strikes law really came on, and I got
Right.
really close to him in Folsom. And then I started doing time in two other prisons with him, and I learned a lot from him. And but like I said, I don't speak up on them too much because my book is not really about them. It has them in the story, but because of I'm talking about the red light, but that the events happened, what I wrote in the story, no, only in the intro.
Right. Okay. And I want to say too to everyone out there listening tonight who doesn't have the book yet, I want to give out a book tonight. So listen up. What I'll do is listen to the things we're talking about, um, keywords or questions or things that we talk about specifically tonight. And I'll ask someone at the end of the interview a question about tonight's interview, and if you can answer, I'll give a book. I want to give out a book or two. I'll just get it directly from the homie, and he can autograph it and sign it to you from by way of the G-Lew show. Soon as the show is over, I'll cash app the whole, however he wants me to do it, and those books will go to whoever won. So we'll do that at the end of the show. Shout out to Brenda. What's up, Brenda? Okay, so now let's go back since we talked about the red light book coming out. Let's rewind a bit. Um, about the book. Like I said, we talked about a lot in the first interview, so we don't dwell too much. But go back to the first book and what made you want to even write the book, the first book you wrote.
Um, this book, I started it when I was in solitary confinement in Tehachapi. It
Right.
was around 2002. I I started like a journal. I started writing it like a journal, what had happened to me, how I got involved in gangs, and when you're in solitary confinement at the time, you don't have your property for like about a month,
Right.
so you have time to write. You have time, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I started like orchestrating a book kind of, and some of the inmates that I was locked up with, I was kind of like showing them what I'm writing. You know what I mean? And they're like, "Damn, like you should, you're very raw in the way you illustrate things on paper." So, but I was writing how I felt. You know what I mean? So why I wrote the book is because things happen to me that don't normally happen to somebody doing time.
Right.
First of all, things that happen throughout the book, um, it's just so unreal. Like you would think, nah, this is the movie right here. This couldn't have happened to him, and but it did. And
Right.
I feel that saying the truth coming from somebody that's did time and been on both sides of the fence could honestly tell you, hey, I went through this. Um, and if I could write, my grammar's not the greatest, but if my grammar's not the greatest and I'm able to accomplish something like this, somebody else could do the same. And everybody has a story to tell, you know? Um,
Facts.
yeah, there's things that growing up, I had a lot of people looking over me and taking care of me. And see if I could maybe use your platform. I wanted to use your platform to thank somebody in my past that I feel like I owe a little bit of apology as well. Um, it is they're a family that are very special to me. They were there when I was growing up, took me in when I was a runaway. Yeah, her name is Heidi. I'm not gonna say her last name. And Rick, he passed away not too long ago. I never got to say I'm sorry to him for the way I acted immature when I first got out. Things that happened to me that I was taking it out on the wrong people that actually I shouldn't have. And I appreciate them very deeply. They took me in. I basically grew up, um, with my best friend who I mentioned in the book, Chino. I won't say his last name, but he we're best friends, man. Growing up, I would go swimming, and his mom was just like mom's at school. Even she worked for school, and you know what I mean. He his pops took care of me like I was his son. I was part of the family. I would even always have a jersey that said their last name in it. You know what I mean? Go to the park. He had his sons in sports, and I was one of those best friends. I was a tag along wherever they went, man. They took me in, and they knew what my pops would put me and my mom's through. So when I was in the streets, man, they said, you're gonna live with us. And I went elementary, junior high school with Ricky's little Ricky. So we became like brothers, and they took me in, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for being there for me when I was a child, and you know what I mean. Things happen along the way that I really want to say I'm sorry to Heidi. I wish I would have been more mature when I seen them. I can't change things, but I'm changing my life around, and in order for me to help out the youth, I have to let all grudges go, brother, and I gotta move on, and I know they moved on. I wish them well. I'm sorry for their loss, Rick. I couldn't be there, to put them to rest. I want to have a good memories of him always because he would call me a peanut head. You know what I mean? I was his peanut head, and he was Papa Smurf in that house. So when I speak in the book about Papa Smurf, that was what Papa Smurf said. That was it. We did. They would take me to school, brother, and bombs. Yeah, some nice bombs, man. Burgundy, black, green. And I would go styling. They fed me good. They clothed me. I had a roof over my head. I had chores like clean the pool, wash dishes. We had a little thing that we would turn around in the fridge, and where it landed, that was your chore. You know what I mean? They raised me right, and mom's always had the green light to stop by and see me. She knew where I was at. She knew I was in a home where they took care of me and embraced me as a family member. And
Wow.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. I love I love you guys. I have I mean I have good memories. You guys did what you could for me, and I just I've came to terms where I have kids. I'm a grandpa now too, and I love all your sons and your daughter. Love Veronica, Victor. I was close to them, and they were all special to me. And I know they love me too. That ain't never gonna change. It's just I'm in a place right now in my life where things are going well for me. Like everyone else, we have issues. You know what I mean? With certain friends or whatever, with family members, but it's you know what I mean. We only live one life, and now, like I said, in order to help out the youth, man, you got to be at peace with yourself and no grudges. So I wanted to take this time just to thank them and tell them I love them.
Rest in peace, Big Rick. Much love, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. He was loved.
Mm.
He is loved.
Wow, that was deep, bro. That was deep, bro.
Yeah, I had a bygones be bygones, brother. You can't be holding grudges forever. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um, I there's things that happen with one of my homeboys that I let it go. We were kids, brother, and if he made a mistake, hey, we're all entitled to make mistakes. You know what I mean? That's just one of his bombs, man. We're always cruising on those, man. Going to go play at Hazard Park, Rose Hill Park. We'll there play baseball.
right.
I was just on the sides. You know what I mean? Trying to
Hey,
put
you
my
know
feet
what?
up.
You know that's what I always respected about and this is before, so no disrespect, but like your neighborhood and even El Serene. So then, like even Bullet back, like I said back at school, he used to get picked. I used to see, he used to get picked up from your homies in the bombs. You know what I mean? Like 3 deep. I used to be like, wow. You know what I mean? For a young dude like that, you know what I mean, to get picked
Yeah,
up by the
yeah.
OGs. You feel me?
I
I was
would
like,
get
yeah,
picked up.
that was G right there.
I would get picked up in a green bomb in Rosemead. I went to
Wow.
Rosemead High in like
Yeah.
in the '90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah,
Rosemead.
it rolls me. That's crazy. That crazy segue, right? Because we talked about this, but my homeboy, stranger, from my neighborhood, he was like, yeah. When the first interview, he was like, yeah, I know him. Boom. He was like, he looks familiar. And then he hit me. He was like, yeah, Rosemead, because he went to Rosemead as well. He wasn't from Rosemead, but he went there as well, like probably like you, when he got kicked out of Alhambra or whatever. And
Right.
then he said he ran into you, and I guess you guys had a confrontation, and like we got to get out, you know what I mean? Because we're enemies, but it was really because of Bullet, because he got on with Bullet too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's a funny story, man. I didn't. I don't put that story in the book. The reason why is because when you write something, you have to have somebody else that can attest to it, right?
Right,
So if let's just say I would have been in contact with you and him, and I'm writing the book, then he could co-sign for me saying that it happened, you know. But man, your homeboy, he's a true G, man. We both bumped into each other, and he told me, "Hey, check it out. I got down with your homeboy Bullet, right? This is at the time I'm from Sereno, right?
right.
So I'm like, oh, is that right? He goes, yeah, we got down. So I'm like, so how you want to take care of this? You know what I mean? He goes, now let's get busy. And I'm like, all right. I go, but check this out. I have an exam. So I'm gonna do my exam and let the bell be the bell, you know? And we both took care of business. We went in our class, we did our thing, the bell rang, and we got down, brother. You know what I mean? Two G's. And then that was that, you know, shook hands and we went on around our business. We got suspended, we got caught. But
Right.
hey, like two G's, you know, I got respect for him. He kept the
Yeah,
G and I kept the G. So but it's funny how it's a small
it's a
world.
small world. That's crazy, bro. Because he didn't even know. I was just talking. He knew about other stuff, but and then once he finally, he's like, hold up, that guy looks familiar, and it was. I was like, wow, yeah, it's a small world,
Small
bro.
world, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, when you're that age, and I said in my book, right? You kind of when you're a kid, you try to extend your boundaries. You know what I mean? And
right.
you bump into people you think you're gonna see again. I bumped into him several times at the mall with his mom, but
Wow.
we kept the G. I see him with his mom. It was about respect. We just nod at each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was seeing Santa Anita Mall, Montebello Mall, and oh, there's that cat. But we knew it was already respect, brother. We already had
Right,
gotten
right.
down,
Right,
and we
right,
knew
right.
where we stand.
Eh,
Yeah,
yeah, and
kept
he's
the
a
G,
good
you
dude.
know.
That's my boy. Shout out to my boy Stranger, man. But he just, reminded me of that. But he sends his respects too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know
Um,
what? Hey, right to him too, man.
yeah,
That's right.
much love. What's up, Elliot? Long time no see. Shout out to Elliot. Everyone in the chat. There's a lot of people showing you love, bro. Um,
Thank you.
yep. So we talked about why you wrote the book, how it got started, but let's talk about, because I don't know, we didn't really get to talk about this last time, you going to prison. We talked about a lot of things before that. Like you said, he was recently before from Sereno, then Lowell wants the green. Well, we didn't speak about this, Tony. Just give them a quick. We don't have to go deep because I want to go like to your prison term and get into that, how that affected you, your family, seeing your kids grow up, but give them a brief for the
So
people. It's a lot of
before
new people. Yeah.
before I even attended Rosemead High, I went to juvenile hall. I went to juvenile hall
Yes.
because I got caught with the strap. That's also in the book. I got caught with the famous 45 we would all carry around, share once a week. You know what I mean? And it just so happens I had a strap when they hit my older homeboy's pad, and I got caught with it, and I was either gonna go to YA or placement, but since I had threw the gun under a car, I didn't actually have it on me, and that's where I was in placement in St. John's. So it's like going towards like Palm Springs somewhere.
Mm.
So those that have been in placements, they've heard of St. John's. This that's when I was with there's yeah, let's see, to the left he's from Satanas. The second one he's from Lomas. The one I'm shaking hands with up there, he's from Santa Maria. The one with the jersey, he's from Santa Maria. And then the one on the far left, that's Scooby from Gary Lomas. And there's three
Hey,
from Santa Maria. Anyways,
hey, let me hold on. Let me ask you. Let me interject a couple of things. Like when you see, when everyone sees you don't know who they are. Like you said, they're from all different places, right? How was it being in placement in places like this where you got to early before prison, where you got to interact with dudes from places you never heard of or been before, and how similar they were to you? Like how was that experience for you, meeting different people outside of El Sereno and out L.A.?
so right here, when you get to placement, it's kind of like juvenile hall
Hmm.
and being in school at the same time because you got to go to school. It's a boys' school,
Right,
so it's like putting a bunch of kids in a Motel 6. All the staff there, all the staff there is kind of like, for example, you need hours to become a sheriff, or you need hours to become a cop, you need hours to become a staff. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Thanks, OG
yeah,
Steve. Go ahead.
we're housed there.
Right.
We're housed there. But interacting with the other kids, you some of them barely got in their hoods, or you know what I mean.
Right.
We're from the ages of like 9, 10. It's in one section, and then 12 through 13 in another section. And they name us by floors, like 49er Vikings or Rams Raiders and Colts. You know what I mean? Like that's what the sections are called, the tiers. And you're on a three-man room uh, with your shower, but staff's constantly counting you. They have arts and crafts. They have counselors for us. During Monday through Friday, you have to go to school. They
So this
have
is
a
better than
dining.
juvenile hall though, then. So you get like
Oh,
you
no,
would
no,
rather
no, no,
go.
no. It's better.
Right, right, right.
Oh, it was better, but because you get to interact more, you get to join sports. They had a basketball team, soccer team, boxing team. They had a gym for basketball, soccer field, baseball. I was on a baseball team. So I didn't show this picture, but that's what I'm getting. This is where I'm getting my for cap. I was a catcher for St. John's.
Let me see.
They gave me a medal right there.
Okay.
They were giving me my award. I was Al, one of the staffs. He's the one that actually picked me up from juvenile hall and took me to the placement. I got lucky. I got lucky because when I was in court, I was either going to go to YA, right? Because
Right,
they said I got caught with the gun, but I
right.
was fighting. I wanted to fight it, saying, "Wait a minute, it wasn't in my possession. I was close to it, so I think I could take it to trial." But my dad was there, and he was saying, "No, man, this guy needs to be locked up." Blah 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 blah. And I took a deal.
Your dad was saying that?
Yeah, he was in the
Wow.
background. He wanted me
Yeah,
locked up so I could change.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
sad.
at the time
Um,
when I got busted, I wasn't living at home. I was a runaway.
right, right, right.
So he wanted me to learn my lesson. So that didn't help with the judge. So I talked to the my public defender, and I was like, man, I could fight this and win it. But if you tell the judge, if he sends me to placement, I'll do it. Nobody wants to go to YA when you're in your
Right.
teens.
Right.
So the judge says, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna send you to a placement. So I was like, yeah, cool. But I didn't know they were gonna send me to the desert. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a learning experience because I interacted more with other. Everybody there is a gang member. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're talking from every county, from up north. When they get to go home for a visit, they put them on. They used to put them on the bus or the train. And some of us, it was a trip because it would like if your PO accepts you to go home on a furlough, everybody's packed in a van and they're dropping you off in front of your house. So I remember getting dropped off and I didn't want to go in my home because I didn't want, my enemies to see where I live.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or vice versa. And I get to pick them up. They'll be standing across the street from their house. So that was like a little learning experience, where going through other hoods and a bunch of little gang members in a van. But at the same time, like you had to go to school. They want they
Did you
wanted to,
respect? But
yeah.
look, did you like being that you had, like you just said, different gang members from everywhere, different counties, wherever was what like how did you like adapt, or not adapt, but how was it to see other guys like that? Was it like respect, or did you not respect them, or did you feel like, how was
You
that?
know what? My first room I went into, they were both from Grape Street.
Mm,
Jimmy, what was his name? Jamie from Grape Street, and I forgot the other one. I think it was Raw or something like that. But I was the first time, so they already told me, hey, which bed you want? I was like, oh, all right. Like I want to go by the window. You know what I mean?
right,
They knew what's up, so they had little lockers. They wanted to get the back because nobody could break in their lockers and stuff. So they straight told me, look, man, I know you're Mexican, this and that. I went by, I was like, I was going along with it like I was Mexican, but I was like, yeah, all right, all right. They said, look, we don't touch your stuff, don't touch ours, and it's all good. So I made friends right away.
right,
And then just there comes your own race fucking trying to play. Where you from? You know what I mean? We're gonna get busy. So I got busy with a couple of them, real quick, just to get it out of the way. And but it was something interacting with kids that I have never really interacted with. I was learning from them.
so
I
at
was
this
learning.
time you're still, though, you're Sereno at this point. Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Well, no, 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 no. No, we
No.
we had already got the green light, but
Oh,
I was already in. Yeah, they don't play that in juvenile hall.
right, right,
Some that are it's been so long now that they maybe do, but they weren't playing that. I was everybody. I had a tattoo on me that says Sereno Lowell on me at the time, so
right,
everybody was just like, "Oh, he's from Sereno," you know what I mean? These kids didn't know what was going on at
right,
the
right.
time. I didn't
How
even know.
I mean, that's what I was gonna ask you too. How was that later? Like, did people, like, once you did get the green light and it was separated, but like, did people even know? Like, because I'm sure they already associate you with Sereno. You know what I mean? First, uh, uh, um, before Lowell. So even with that, how was that for other people? You know what I mean? Did they still look at you as Sereno after
You know
Lowell,
what?
even and the
Only
green light?
only only the kids, like for example, there was one from Avenues, so he knew because they were boarding neighborhoods, you know what I mean?
Right,
So they knew about the green light, so there was a little talk about it, but they didn't know the magnitude and seriousness of a green light as opposed to now, you know?
right.
Um, yeah, it was just kids, playing games. I would see it, but I kind of got going home. I remember I had a girlfriend and I was gonna have a baby already at a young age, so I really wanted to go home. And my PO says, "Man, if you give me a good 6 months, I'll let you go home early." You know what I mean? But nah, man, fighting and fighting in there. It's like I said, it's like being in juvenile hall, just far away in the desert, and kids challenge you sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right,
For
right.
whatever reason, I got in a fight because somebody put their pants down when my grandma visited me, and that's a no
Wow.
no. So I got more time. I didn't go home, but yeah, I was gonna be a father when I was my son was born. Like I would say like a month or two before I got out.
Hmm.
I was man, it was gonna be a whole different. I was gonna become an adult getting out of there.
Wow.
But
So
there's a
go ahead.
bunch of kids that I make camaraderie with. Man, a lot of them passed away. There's only three of us in a picture there that are still alive and out. The rest are doing life in prison and or they're dead.
Wow. Let me see what I don't have that pic. Um, no,
Well, that was in '92.
that was 92. I was trying to find the one with your homies. I don't have it. We'll
That
bring
was
it up.
actually months. That was actually months before Flacco passed away.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Um, so yeah, tell us about, I don't know if you want to go any more depth about before, but you want to go to when you went to prison, because we're talking about placement. So what was the difference, how far in between was it from the when you come home from placement, you're back or whatever to the time you get locked up
Two
for good?
years. Two
2 years.
years.
Okay.
From when I got out of placement, uh, I was learning how to be a father. I was learning how to live with my girl. Um,
Hold up. Before we continue, we got to give a shout out to your wife, though, bro. You know what I mean?
oh
Just
man, she's
please,
solid.
man. Even when we talked the other day and you told me you guys been together since 7 years, I mean, we got to give a shout out to you and your wife, bro. Man,
Yeah.
that's real love. 7 years old.
Yeah, I think she had enough of me, G. Nah, I'm just
Wow.
playing. No, but we've been through some hard times. Solid. She's kept us solid, bro. You know, when you're teenagers, you break up to make up. But
Right.
we've been together for a very long time. She was my neighbor, and she grew up in my home, knowing she was best friends with my cousin, and I know her family. We're very tight. You know what I mean? We've been through more bad times than good times, but now it's been a straight road, man. You know, now
Right.
it's all going good. We're grandparents. You know,
That's
everybody
what's up.
says I wear this hat because I'm a grandpa now, but I have six grandchildren now.
Right.
Yeah, they're man,
That hold up. Let me give it. We got to clap for that. Got to
yeah,
clap for that. That's
yeah, man. I
beautiful,
got some
bro.
beautiful grandchildren. I love my kids to death. They gave me the best gift a man can have, man. Grandkids. You love your kids, but when you get some grandkids, it's like you could have them, and once you're tired, okay, go to your parents. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
they're a trip. Yeah, man. I
That's what's
got one
up.
that's gonna be into motocross, and he's barely five. Uh,
Wow.
I got one that she's like five, or no, she's like four, going on 15. The way she speaks, and man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. My kids are already older. When I went to prison, my kids were 1 and 2,
Mm.
and right now they're
How
like
long did you do? 15? How long altogether?
out of six. I was sentenced to 16,
Mm-hmm.
and I did 15 and a half around there.
Mm. 15 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did some
Hey.
hard. Yeah, it was hard in the beginning. It was hard in the beginning. I went through some obstacles that no, not anybody comes out alive out of them, you know.
Right.
And it was maybe a little bit of naive stupidity. um, and my pride almost got me killed. Yeah, I wish that would have never happened. I don't wish that upon anybody. Like I said, there's people that have done bad things to me, and I don't even wish that upon them to go to a place like that. That's nobody should be caged up.
Right,
And I
right.
did, and I did out of that 15 and a half, I think I did about 9 in solitary confinement
Wow.
through yeah, doing some hard time.
Tell the people, man. I mean, a lot of people know, but some who don't know or just heard about solitary confinement, 9 years. Tell them what solitary confinement consists of, bro.
So solitary confinement, segregated housing unit is like when you're
The
bad, you
shoe.
do something, you go to the hole, right? But when you're in the hole, there's still another like jail. And I'm gonna say it in layman's terms for those that haven't been to jail. They they cage you up more than when you're in the hole. And in the hole, you're just doing your time because you did something bad. But when you go to the shoe, it's more confined. You're more confined. You only come out like they changed it up now, but it was rough for me, where I would only come out every other 3 days to shower, and or I would come out for yard every so often for like about an hour and a half in a cage, actual cage,
Wow.
where you can't really interact in a cage,
Right,
but
right.
you
How
know,
how does hold on, CC Peachy, thank you. Thank you, CC Peachy. I appreciate it. Much love. Gracias. Tell them again, like um again what you just said, bro. In a cage. In a
yeah,
cage.
you're caged up. You're caged up. You feel the hard time as it's like, nobody wants to be caged up. It's just, it messes with your head. You know
Right.
what I mean? Um, it's really a link chain fence in a cage. And then you just go back to your cell and you're in a cage like that just to get some air. Some are doing their
Right.
exercise, some are doing their talking, but for the most part, you just do your workout and you're back in.
How how, first let me ask you this, bro. When you got your sentence, bro, how long how did that affect you? How long did it take for you to take it in? Like, or were you prepared for that? Like, how was that going, that day when you got that sentence, bro? I don't know if you already thought or knew you were getting that or what was the mind state when you got
No,
that sentence, bro?
I no, I actually didn't think I was gonna get that lucky. No, I
Okay,
had made
okay,
amends. I had made amends that I was gonna be facing a triple life in prison.
okay, okay,
I was
okay,
very lucky that I
okay.
had a lawyer that really fought for me, and I did my homework too. Though I did my homework, I went to the law. I mean, I went to the library and I was studying, and um, I would actually say I helped out on my case because I was fighting for my life. I knew that if I didn't fight for my life, whatever time, regardless, I was gonna do, there was dudes out to get me. They were gonna take my win, you know, and because I was being stubborn, naive. There was a little bit of everything,
Mhm.
prideful, and I I I was very lucky. I don't know, somebody above was looking after me because I was gonna face triple life.
Mm.
I just We had the same trial with my crime partner, but separate juries. We went like that. I wanted to have a separate trial so that whoever got lucky could help the other one out, and kind of take the blame type, And
Right.
nah, the DA wasn't having it. She said, "No, I'm gonna give you same trial," and I actually got to win to have my own jury, and
Mm.
that kind of helped me out. And but I did something bad, and I have remorse. I wish I would have never committed what I did. You know what I mean? I If I could take it back, I would in a heartbeat. Um,
but but to not to your defense or anything, but to what it was, we got to say, hold on. We got to say first and foremost, you were in a different mind state, of pretty much a child still, but in the gang warfare and retaliation mode, which is just as almost as natural.
for us.
If
And
you're a
and
real one,
our,
if you're a real one, if
yeah,
not, you
and
could have
our
sat
world,
back or
that's
whatever. But you know what I mean,
right. Not justifying it, but yes, you're right. That's we're not the ones to get a phone and call the cops. Like we
right?
take care of our business the way we know how. The way that's how we. That's what I knew at the time. And you asked me if it was to happen this time, how would I do things? Of course, you do things different. You know, my mind at that time was, and anybody would try to be like, take care of your family, right? Um, Now I would just do things different. And thank God, I've always kept it solid. And people that know me, I've always kept it solid. They know where I come from, and I've never had malice to just hurt somebody just because I want to hurt them. You know what I mean? But yeah, they know what they were there to do.
Right.
They were there to do something. You know what I mean? And it just they hurt one of my boys. I mean, but if you read the book, I really do show remorse at the end because I feel for the victims' families. I mean, their loved ones, because my loved ones suffered too. Just me going to prison, they're in fear that they knew I stepped in the county jail, my life was in danger. You know what I mean? You're talking about dealing with thousands of fools that are gangbanging too.
The
So
county is really worse. I won't say worse, but I mean, in so many ways, than prison, as far as
yeah,
no
so
structure.
and you got to remember that's their house. It'll be
Mhm.
different if it's my house. I'm going in there and but no, it's not. I'm outnumbered, and even though there was hoods that had a green light, I mean, I had some backup most of the times because I would let it out there. I would let it be known I was a green lighter. That was like kind of my defense. I already knew and they stand out those that want to ride against me too. So it was part of the game, part of the routine.
Hey, let me ask you this, Bandit. When you did get your sentence, where I was, like I said, how did you feel? Like I mean, like you said, obviously now you were prepared. You felt you were lucky, so you thought you would get more. So obviously that's good. But
I
how did you
remember
feel at this point? Are you ready to go to prison? Are you ready to for that transition, or are you just ready to get out of the county? Or are you comfortable with the county now? Like, what's your mind state now that you know you're about to go to prison?
I didn't know what to expect. When I got sentenced, I remember looking at my lawyer's notebook. She had circled first degree, second degree, and involuntary manslaughter, right? And I remember I closed my eyes, and when the jury was saying we find the defendant, blah 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 blah, not guilty of this, I was like, ugh. We find the defendant not guilty of this, and she circled like 20 times. She said, "You're gonna see sunlight." It was something like I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. It didn't hit me till I was in the bus back to the county in the cage, listening to Freddie Fender. I was just like, did this really happen? You know? Um, and at the
How
time
long
I
were
was
you in the
going
county
from
at this time? How long is it
I
fighting
was
the
in
case?
when I got sentenced, I was in Supermax, but
Mhm,
I was in the hole.
mhm.
I was going from the hole to Supermax until it was over because I was serving 30 days in the hole, I think, at the time. And for some Pruno.
Mm.
Got caught with some Pruno. Yeah, and took me to the hole.
Right, right,
And, yeah, so I would see my crime only when I would go to court. He would bring me some sopas, candy bars, whatever, and eat them right there in the tank. Then we had to do what we had to do.
right, right. That's what's up. Um, so so like I said, are you ready at this point? Like let's go. Let's run. Are you ready to get out of the county, or are you
I
ready for
was I
that
was
transition to
already
prison?
I was already kind of like asking other dudes that have been locked up, right? What am
Right.
I gonna face or what? Um, I didn't know what to expect Because when people tell you a story, it's not the same when you actually see it.
Right.
You're like, whoa, okay, they didn't tell me this part, you know? I wasn't ready. Nobody's ready for that. For your first time, nah, you're a fish. You're a fish. You don't know what's up. I was even calling the COs deputies, and they don't like to be called deputies. They're like, we're COs here, you
Right.
know? Deputies is the county.
Right.
You know, whatever. And but I was lucky there too, and I was lucky in reception center because I there was this one cop that needed help. There was no
So
room
where
for
did
me
you
in
go for reception? Delano or
Wasco.
Wasco? Okay.
Yeah, I went to Wasco, and I was endorsed to Pelican Bay from there.
Mm.
That was a little
Wow.
bit of.
Straight
I'm
to
not gonna
Pelican
lie to you.
Bay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. When they said I was endorsed to Pelican Bay, I was like, "That's where I'm gonna die."
Wow.
I made amends with God, and I said, "You know what? Just let me see my kids one more time," and that's it. I had embraced it. I took it
Wow.
like that's where I'm gonna die up there.
Wow.
I I knew I wasn't doing life, but I knew I couldn't survive 15 years in the line. There's no way. So I was always in my mind is like, I'm gonna serve my time doing shoe time, just taking care of business, going to the shoe, until my time runs out and I get out.
So
Sad, but
Pelican Bay is pretty. So you go straight to the shoe. How was that?
no, not straight to the shoe. Pelican Bay. I'm endorsed to that prison to do my time there.
Okay. Okay.
They
They
have
have
a
a
shoe.
shoe. They have a shoe in Pelican. That's like
They
the
have a
main.
shoe. But
Okay.
I was
Okay.
going to Pelican Bay Yard,
Okay. Okay.
A yard.
Okay.
I was endorsed
Okay.
to A yard.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is not also in the book. I go to A yard. They assign me to a building. Um, but something happened when we got off the bus where this cat they ordered him. I don't want to say too much because I want them to see it on the book, but they had ordered him to to hit me, and he was 4 months to the house.
Mm.
So that was kind of like an eye opener for me. Like anybody could come and get you, boys. Be ready, So I was like, let's do this, Brutus. But not they slammed
She
me
said it's
down, not
freezing
by
in Pelican
choice.
Bay. It's cold. She said it's freezing in Pelican Bay.
Oh man, it hails, it rains, it's cold like
Wow.
all year. It's
Wow.
even when it's hot, you gotta wear your jacket out there. And I see dudes going in their jacket. They go straight in boxers to the shoe yard. But yeah, it hails, it's
Mm.
cold. Yeah, I don't like the weather up there because you're close
Mm.
to Oregon.
Oregon, right? That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
on the right up there, you're by the beach, you just like looking at the Seahawks, there's a lot of pelicans in Pelican Bay.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of pelicans.
How do you feel about? Do you think it's obviously it's on purpose, but how they um have the prisons like you said way in Oregon? It's hard. Like it's real far away. Obviously uncomfortable, but uncomfortable for visits and family. You know what I mean? To come way up there for 1 hour. You know what I mean? Visit. Like
You know what?
how was that? How was that part for you?
Man, that's adversity, bro. It takes an adversity for the families to go way up there. They got to fly. Some have to fly, some take a train, get a hotel for the weekend. It takes money, it takes time. I gotta give it to those that the family members, man, and we're so grateful that they go and visit us because, man, just I took a ride from here to Lancaster, and I told my
Mhm.
wife, "You used to go visit me every other weekend, and I
Right,
can't
right,
even go one day." Like I was
right,
like, "Oh, halfway is oh my god, this is far."
right,
I'm like, I don't know how you do it. She goes, no, I loved you and my kids. It's an adverse. My kids didn't like going. The little one did. The little one loved because he used to go in the little playground and mess around with the other
right.
kids. You know what I mean? But my other kids, they didn't want to be holidays. Okay, we got to go visit dad. You know what I mean? And they love
How do you
pop.
feel? But how do you feel about how they do that though? Make and they knowingly put like probably the Southerners way up north. You know what I mean? I know it's some for political reasons, but
Yeah,
still,
it's just to break all that up, brother. You know what I mean? I don't know what agenda they have, because my philosophy is different from others. You know what I mean? But
mhm,
I think it's to break you down. You know, and
definitely,
one way
definitely.
or another, it breaks you down. Like, we're gonna punish you and send you away from your family. You know what I mean? That's why there's a lot of people that would get on psychiatric meds. In my book, I kind of played the system once like that too,
Yeah,
because
yes.
my wife had to drive hours just to see me, like an hour, and sometimes they cut you short. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, it's for punishment, and that's kind of sucks. You know what I mean? It's messed up.
How I mean, at what point do you, I guess you have no choice, but at what point do you, if ever, finally adapt to, like, I'm here for 15 years, or you know what I mean, whatever my sentence is, and just like opposed to like year or count, because you can, it's hard to do time when you think
Right.
about the time and count it down. So when do you finally adapt? Just say, okay, whoop whoop, and get adapted, and not think about and let that fuck your head up. You know what I mean?
So this is what I always tell everybody: the first day is crucial. The first week is hard. The first month, you're kind of adapting.
Hmm.
The first year is the roughest. Once you know what's up, and you're able to function in an environment where you could do your daily routine, then it could go smooth for you if you don't start focusing in the street. If you start stressing over your family, you're a stress case, you're a phone monster, your time's gonna go slow.
He said a phone monster.
Yeah, bro, and I'm talking
Always
about
on the
you,
phone. Yeah,
your
I
time
know.
is asking somebody else for time. You
Right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right,
But
right.
if you get, there's some of us that had boom boxes. I did time with X-Rated where he was recording his music. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
wow.
Yeah,
The homie from Sacramento.
I did time with the Menendez brothers, and one of them plays soccer, the other one plays chess. And I played soccer with Eric Menendez and Folsom. I played chess in Mill Creek with Lyle Menendez. I've there's they're like celebrities or whatever, but I see them as just a regular man. I love chess. I play chess. I learned that when I was in Pelican Bay in the Hole.
Right,
There were some Northerners that were my neighbors, and with me, I'm not a Southerner, so they would show me respect. Everybody in the Hole shows each other respect. Even if you're not from whatever function, you show respect,
hey,
because if
hey,
you don't, your own is gonna discipline you.
right.
It doesn't
Hey,
matter if
Bandit.
you're from up. It don't matter, brother, if you're from up north, south. If you're in the hole, you're gonna show everybody respect.
Right, right. Bennett, back up right quick because you mentioned Pelican Bay again. Now we didn't go back to the part when, like you said, you got sentenced to Pelican Bay first to go to Pelican Bay. How was that? Like you already said yourself, you had thoughts because you hear about Pelican Bay. That's like the real big house, besides
Yeah, all you
Quentin.
hear is bad
So
stories about.
right. So how was that when you finally pulled up on the Goose or whatever you was on to Pelican Bay, bro? And what was that like?
Right off the bus, man. Somebody was already hitting us up, like, make a line, show your paperwork, and that's where it got real for me right there. It got real because they have assigned people. Again, I'm not going to mention names, but they assign people for sections, for buildings,
Mhm,
and it's a structure. For each function, they function different, or they have
mhm.
appointed people. So I just so happened to, man, there was somebody from my area there that
Right.
knew what's up with me and knew I had to go. I was just lucky enough that the person that they asked to do something, he was short to the house. But I was ready for it, man. I was suited and booted, and let's do this, Brutus. Whatever came with it, you know what I mean. It was either going to be me or him,
Mm,
man to man combat. That's when I faced the reality of having a green light. They're going to take my wind.
right. Um, Let me ask you this too. I want to get more into Pelican Bay, but I want to ask you this because I didn't ask you before. After your encounter with your former homie Bullet, rest in peace. Did you have any other encounters with any other homie, your homies or former homies from El Sereno or whatever that you ran across?
Yes,
Okay.
I ran into a couple of them that they were already older, but I also ran into the 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 one that I had shot up. I ran into his brother.
Oh,
Yeah, so that I felt that that was gonna be one that I was gonna have to like
right,
put the smash down.
right.
And un, again, he came at me in a different way to where like he told me, "Hey, dude, I know what he was there for, and you did what you had to do." But that was my opportunity to say, "Hey, man, sorry about what happened." For those that I mean, somebody lost their life. You know what I mean? And I said, "Hey, man, my bad. It was part of gangbanging. You know that, right?" But I was ready for him too. I told him, "How you want to handle this? You want to book each other or you want to fight?" You know what I mean? And he stuck his hand out, bro.
Mm,
I was like, "All right." And this is a person I knew growing up too, though.
right.
He knew who I was, and I knew who he was.
Did
We
you
lived
was
life
that another thing? Even was that? Let me interject again. Just when you say certain things, I want to get clarity.
perspective.
Was it certain homies even before prison in the streets or whatever that you once everything was lit that like you said, you had certain respect for that you knew closer, like we were really homies before as kids or whatever that you gave passes or vice versa when you saw each other.
They showed me respect even when I was in court.
Okay.
They went to my court and tried to get the guys from the opposition to stop testifying on me, and I was already greenlighted, and there was three of them and the stands talking about, "We got you, man, we got you." It didn't work. It didn't work, but like I said, I mean, now now I don't see that thing like, "Oh man, they told on me and this and that." I look at it like they're probably scared. They did it because they were scared. You know what I mean? Or whatever, for whatever reason. And I don't hold that against them no more, man. I had to, and my mentality had to change. You know what I mean? Because I was holding that grudge against these individuals to that. Man, I don't know what went through their head when they did that. But the other side did show me at the time, like, we're here to make sure they don't fucking turn on you, but it didn't work. I don't know what happened to that. I don't wish nobody any harm anymore. Whatever happened, happened. Um, that's their life. They got to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Right. Um, what was I gonna say? So at this point though, now that you're in prison, you got your sentence. Like you said, the first year is like probably the hardest. Like, at what point do you kind of get kind of settled in? You probably got a job now. You work. I don't know what's going on. At what part do you kind of officially just get settled in? Like, I'm gonna be here for a minute. You know what I mean? And now you're focusing on what are you doing in there?
it was in Corcoran. I needed to get my education out of the way. I started going to school, trying to study to get my GED out of the way, and I was studying for that. I was
Right.
also getting a job in silkscreen, just trying to do it whatever vocational I can get.
Hmm.
And in Corcoran in like 90, 98, 99, that's when I was getting settled. But you know what? Like I said, man, there's things that happen to me that don't normally happen to other people. I was in Corcoran, settled down, and here comes my past again. An individual that tried an attempt and stabbed me in the county jail hits my yard, and I feel like he's there to fulfill his mission, because I know I'm a wanted guy. You know what I mean? Or my neighborhood too. So I'm kind of like, um, I don't know. It's how can I put it to you? It's it's unbelievable. Is this really happening?
Right.
Like you're being tested. Like I want to
Right.
do good, and now this pops up, and now I'm doing good again, and now this pops up, and that's why the story is special because things happen that don't normally happen to other people, or if they do, not exactly this way. How did this individual get through the cracks, or
Right.
how did I get through the cracks and did time with my crime partner? There's things that do not happen, brother, and they were happening to me. You know, um, I had broke up with my wife, and we weren't married yet, but in time she came back. You know, and I was like, wow, like, and then we got married in prison. Things were happening to me that, and then when things were going good too, something else happened to me. You know what I mean? They try to say I was from a prison gang and one of them yards, and man, I was indeterminate. Um, like no, there's just things happening that don't normally happen to other inmates, and it's. I said I have to tell this story, man, because it's just so unreal. But it's everything's documented. Everything, it's an open book. They could go and check it out. Or you've seen through conversations in your last show, people have came that know me, did time with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of
It's a
people.
small world.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
it's a small world.
yep. What would you say, man? I mean, it's just hard to believe, like 15 years, bro. I mean, but you did it. You're here. It's homies doing 20. It's homies still there. I know that were there with you. You know what I mean? That are still there. So salute to them. But man, what would you say was the most uh hard time or worst time that you faced when you were doing those 15 years, whether it be something in there, something outside you don't have control over, or what was it over those 15 years was the worst at one point for you?
Yeah, the most rough of the 15.
Yeah. Or a time that you can remember that was like this was whatever the case may be. That was the worst time you remember doing that 15 years because I'm sure you went through a lot of shit, bro, over 15 years, but it must have been something that you remember that was like maybe the worst for you.
Where they when I was set up by the cops in the county jail,
Mm,
that is the worst feeling when you know everybody in that tier wants to take your win. That was the most messed up feeling, and I kind of felt a little guilty because I had my crime partner with me.
mm,
So it had to be one of the worst. And yeah, I would say that was it. I felt like any chance I had of living that I had a control of, I had no control over it. And my pride was gonna just I was in the lion's mouth. So yeah.
mm. Thanks, homie Henry. Thank you, homie. He said, okay, as always, thanks for content. Much love, homie. Um, how was it like when you I don't know I don't even know. I don't want to miss anything or go over certain parts of your bid of 15 years, bro, because that's a lot, But I was gonna ask you, how did it feel once you knew you had a date? You know what I mean? I got a date that you
Oh,
know of, that's for
when
sure.
so I knew I had a date when I was in I believe reception center, but uh, the date the date actually changed a couple of your date changes when you get in trouble, brother.
Right.
Every time you get 90 days or 120
Right,
days
right, right.
attitude time, right?
But oh, right, right. I got that because that could
Okay,
be early on, but talk
okay,
later, like when you know it's close, like, and now you really have a date.
right.
That's really, really, you know what I mean?
So I
Visible.
was looking at that date 2009.
Okay.
2009. Actually, no, 2010, and it went down. Um, I had beat an appeal on the assault weapon from 10 years. It went down to 1 year. So I was actually going to do more, but I got resentenced again to 16. It was going to be more because at that time, the assault weapon, the SKS, they were going to charge you 10 years for that. But I appealed it. They messed up in my trial. But when I was getting close, when I started gaining weight again. Man, I was cut up. I was 185 pounds cut up. We would be working out and playing handball, basketball. There's there's leagues in there of football, basketball. But when you get nervous, man, I didn't want to work out. All I wanted to, I was nervous. What was gonna happen when I got
About
out?
coming home? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, Bandit. I want to ask you this too, bro. Sorry to keep interjecting, but it's just certain things I want to touch on, right? Um,
yeah.
how were you ever able to get? 'Cause like you said before, you went to prison. Rest in peace to the homie Big Rick. You went in with your homeboy's family, and things weren't right at home, and you left home. I heard you talk about your pops. You know, things that used to happen. Were you ever able to get uh clarity with the family or resolution or anything once you came home or before you came home or at any time after?
No, brother. When I came home, I it's barely till right now that I'm resolving all of that, But when I came home, I things had changed. Things changed in the street. They weren't like when I was out. Um, they were way different. Well, you got to remember, everybody was 50 years older in my crowd.
Right, right.
Some already were living on their own. They had moved out. They had kids. Um, my kids were in high school. The day
Wow.
I the day I got out, I went to my son's high school basketball game. My little brothers, they weren't little no more. They were taller than me. My three big brothers. And you see one of them is a barber. Well, two of them are barbers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we're all corn fed. We're all I'm the biggest one, but in size, but they're all taller than me. Um, Everything was different. What I expected, totally different. You got to remember the style of dressing changes. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, so
the way people
2009 is
talk,
way different. Like, yeah,
yeah, the language was different.
right,
People
right,
say, "Oh, that's sick," and I'm like, "What do you mean that's sick?" My kids were saying "sick" a lot. That's sick. That's sick. I mean, that meant it was good,
right,
but yeah, time had. I didn't let time change me because I was always in a good mood, joking around, you know what I mean? Telling my stories or hearing stories. And a lot of people, that place, it breaks you, or it makes you a different, mean, or all you're thinking is negative, you know what I mean? And I had to think a little different. I had good communication with some of my boys that were keeping me up what was going on, but for the most part, it was just my wife and my grandparents. They would always visit me and keep me up on what was going on.
right,
But
right. D- when you do come home, do you see a well, I don't know when you come home, how where you go, do you see like obviously 15 years it's a big difference. It really is a big difference, but it's not a difference. Like because you look at everything, it's really the same, but a difference in a lot of faces and people and things and have changed. How was that for you coming home and seeing that?
um, it was overwhelming. I had to adapt to my kids. It was hard.
Mhm.
It was hard because they've always had just moms, right? And now here comes this figure trying to set authority, and they weren't having it.
Mm.
Like, where you been all this time, and now you want, you know what I mean?
Right, right, yeah.
That was kind of hard. With my wife, it was different. in the sense to where like now she had somebody there to like back up her play, but it wasn't peaches and herbs all the time. I went through a little party time too, where I was getting off course as well, and getting back in the hood and hanging out
Did you
with.
see did you see another thing I want to ask you? Did you see a big difference from when you left and when you came back as far as how the relationships were or the stand the this you know what I mean? The temperature was as far as all that green light, the old neighborhood, boom, boom, boom. What
Yeah,
was
well,
that like? Big
while
D,
I
what
was
up?
busted, while I
Go
was
ahead.
busted, like uh, my boys were going through it. They were putting in work. They had their missions. You know what I mean? I can't attest to those because I was busted. So that's why in my book I just write my story because it's about me, what I seen and I went through. But what I would hear, man, it was some crazy times. So when I got out, they were already making bonds with other hoods that had green lights. You know what I mean? Like
So it
Rose
was safe to
Hill.
say it was still turned up. It was still all bad.
Not as bad as when I got
Okay, okay,
busted. You know what I
okay.
mean? But it was still on, but it had mellowed out when I got out. It had mellowed out.
Right,
Now it was like when they would see each other. You know what I mean? But when I first got busted, it was like nah. It was not every day. Like it was a war zone, and you know what I mean?
right.
I see Big
Okay.
D right there.
Yeah, I see Big D. I don't know. If Big D was tardy for the party. Where you been, Big D? But he's here. There's the link right there, Big D. If you want to tap in, homie. But yeah. So like I know we covered a lot. I don't know. Like I said, with the 15 years, that's why I just went to when you came home and how it was. You know what I mean? To adapt and see everything different. But I really wanted to know, like you just answered, how was that like? Far as the relationships 15 years later, it was the same or worse or better. You said it was a little better.
Some of my boys had matured
Mhm.
a lot. I have a lot of homeboys that are serving life sentences. You know what I mean? And I mean, a lot of homeboys are serving life sentences, um, and other homeboys doing times for other homeboys. There's homeboys doing times for stuff they didn't even do, but they're lifers. They're
Right.
lifers. I keep in contact with some of them. Some of them are about to get out. Uh, I don't want to say their names or when they're getting out, but I have letters, recent letters I just got. I'm on my way out. Their mentality, I try to tell them, man, it's about positivity now. You got to let go of that grudge. Um, the past is the past, brother. And I try to be a good influence on my friends. If they take it, they take it. Some of them are a good influence on me too. You know what I mean? There's some that now I was like, damn, they have solid jobs,
Right.
um, homes. We don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Their reputation, or my hood reputation, mine, or all my, we don't have to prove nothing to anybody anymore. That was it's a done data. We did our we put in our work in our different ways or whatever, but none of us have to prove anything to anybody. But I see it now. You want to be a true G, be a real man, and handle your business now. You know what I mean? We ain't kids no more.
That part.
We ain't kids no more. It's about positivity. Um, I've been working on not to change the subject or nothing, but I've been working with Marvelous on trying to set some structure to where people could always that want to change and want to work.
That's what
And
I was
there's
gonna ask you
systems out
about.
there.
I'm glad you said that. That's what I was gonna ask you next about how what we talked about how you can help people and what they can do to if they want to work and
Yeah, because
serious
look,
about the union and all that. CeeLo, what
um,
up? Go ahead, Bandit.
we we um we want to build some type of structure to where, example, there's people that say, you know what, I don't know how to go and look for a job. Well, there's a union willing to take dudes that really want to work. You know what I mean? All you got to do is do that QR code with your phone.
Right.
We're going to give you some info where you could go to and work for the union. If you want to be a carpenter or whatever line you want to go into, there's programs out there where you could work, you know what I mean, and change, and while you're learning, you're getting paid. And trust me, brother, my son, they're both, two of them are in the union, and one of them just bought a house. You know what I mean? He just bought a brand new one of them trucks. I don't want to say what kind, but my son's doing good for himself and his family. He moved out of our house. It's sad because he took my grandkids, but hey,
Right,
he
right.
has to move on. My other son's in the union as well. He's settled. He could get his house now if he wants to, but we're kind of trying to keep him as long as we can with us. You know what I mean? But there's jobs out there,
Right.
and you can get paid while you're learning a good trade. You know what I mean? I learned a trade in prison
How does
where.
one out because that's a beautiful thing, and that I do like for the homies if they take advantage, of the things they have in there, like you did. But how does one go about, like right now, the homie, someone listening that wants to try to become an apprentice, or go to trade school, or whatever, to learn a trade? How would they go about doing that?
So I have this thing that I had shot. I don't know if you could post
Yeah,
it up.
I don't, damn. Let me see. Give me a minute. Let me try to re-upload it. I didn't get it. Um, Give me 1 minute, but go ahead, bro.
So it's in the union. All it is if you want to learn a trade, you know what I mean. They're willing to train you, and while they're training you, you could get some money. We could probably put it on. I'll probably put it on my page. If you can't, I'll put it on my Instagram page. But I have a neighbor that he was telling me, man, I see that there's a lot of the youth that my book has did some changes and the
Hmm.
numbers are going up. Like again, I'm not gonna say their names or where they're from, or because they want to change and they want some structure in their life, and they want to do something with their lives. And I've been an advocate of saying invest in yourself. Like I love writing, so I invested in myself in writing and putting whatever I had saved up into my books, and because that's what I love doing. So find what you love doing. If you love drawing, if you love, you know what I mean, invest in that, and you'll be good at it because you love doing it, and it takes you off of your negativity stuff. It'll take you places. This writing this book, I've done photo shoots, I've done interviews, I've met people around the world that want to learn more from this that I'm creating. We're in talks with Marvelous about talking in juvenile halls and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, Things come to mind. I have an interview coming up this week with Javier Incredible, where he does animated cartoons. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And I'm thinking maybe if I do an animated series of my life and animated, I could show it at the juvenile hall and then speak up after. You know what I mean? And say, look, it's not actually a cartoon. That's my life right there, short and short film. But it takes funding for real characters. So if I do it animated, maybe I could show it in a juvenile hall. And if my book's changing 70 some kids by now, maybe I could change hundreds after. Who knows? Or maybe five. But it's the positivity that we are building, rubbing off each other with. I've got some from Marvelous. I'm in talks with the Javier doing something, or
Talk
trying to
talk
trying to
about the talk about the if you could, briefly, about the connection with you and Marvelous. I'm glad you guys have been connecting and doing things, but tell us about that connection, and how you guys connected, and some of the things you guys have in the work, so that you've already done.
So Marvelous Daniel, yeah, he already knew my boys. He's a solid dude. He he knew my partners from a while back. Part of it had to do with the green light, but he rubbed elbows and with them, in time. And through I was doing an interview. I seen interviews of him on street TV, right? And so when I did an interview, I started looking him up, and then he hit me up. He hit me up once I did an interview with you,
Hmm.
and I think he did an interview after with you, and we started hitting each other up. and we clicked, brother. We clicked. There was positivity there, and I seen that he has he's 20 years ahead of himself.
Right,
It
right.
speaks
Yeah.
volumes.
He's
I
sharp.
could
Yeah, he's
see,
pretty sharp.
yeah, yeah, he's sharp. I got a lot of respect for him. Um, the time that I spend with him, we call each other almost every day. You know what I mean? We give each other advice, good
Right.
advice. Um, he guides me. He guides me pretty good. I'm there for him too. He needs me. I'm here. We kind of like say we adopted each other. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's my brother right there now. But
Right. That's what's
yeah,
up.
he's all about positivity, and that's what I love about it because two positives are better than one. And I think if we start building, I think everybody putting their heads together with positivity, man, the youth could grow more better than us. You know what I mean? And that's what would be overwhelming. I feel that the youth does have to hear some people's stories, and everybody has a story. And there's a lot of people that want to do good. It's just they don't have the resources, man. And maybe we have the tools to maybe push them a little bit and say, no, there is resources out there. You know what I mean? Today could be one outlet where they could learn something and say, whoa, I want to do that, or maybe I'll do it a little different.
Right, right. Do you feel like um us having these platforms and you being on the platforms, you of course you spread positivity and people can learn and it's a great story, but also the internet was filled with a lot of BS too, and even you know people that come from the life or former gang member, whatever, and still, it's a lot of BS out there as well, man. How do you
You
feel
gotta
about
know how to
that? Or
divert. You gotta know how to separate some of the. We're kids nowadays are more intelligent. They know what's up. They know what's real, what's not. Um, but at the same time, a lot of people do it for entertainment. You know what I mean? Because whatever is more wild, more crazier, oh, that's what's gonna give views or whatever, right? But I feel that they know what's right and what's wrong, and it helped me out to spread some positivity. You know what I mean? My book has a lot of negativity in it, but if you really read it right with the content, the way it's meant to send a message, um, it's doing its purpose. And people are changing. I'm getting not calls, but on the DM, like I don't like to say the word active because active's, what I mean, I don't know, but
right,
dudes from different hoods that have told me, bro, I like the fact you didn't drop no names. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think you do a book, oh, you're like, you're dropping dime.
right,
Or I've never dropped out. They feel you drop out, the word snitch comes out. I haven't dropped out of nothing. I'm from Lowell, you know what I mean? What am I dropping out of? No. I could say I'm retired, but it doesn't change. I'm always gonna have a green light. You know what I
right,
mean? But when I say retired, is I'm not no dummy anymore, trying to advocate violence or anything like that, or towards another gang or no. But I ain't no dummy either. I gotta protect myself as well. But I'm trying to send positivity. Now, if that's gonna get me caught up and killed because I want to put positivity out there, I don't know, but I think somebody up above is looking over me and telling me you're doing something good, and maybe you're probably saving that one character's son. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Yeah, and maybe in the long run, I'm not asking for a pass, brother, a free ride. This is not what I'm doing. I wrote the story because there was something that I also cleared up, and it was my best friend's name. He was labeled something that he wasn't, where there was no paper produced, and I put it out there on the interview with Street TV, where it was proven he wasn't what they were labeling him, and I wanted to clear his name because that was my best friend, and his death didn't just go in vain. Um, he was my best friend, and they weren't gonna label us as that. We're solid. I could I could co-sign for him, and that's why I wrote the story in there. And his life was taken, brother, and I didn't want his. I go visit him often. I just went because his birthday just passed, and his anniversary. He died 30 years ago, and I still
Mm,
have him here. You know, um,
wow.
and I feel like if I could save somebody else, I'm gonna still do it. I feel maybe I have a purpose. Maybe this is my calling and to give back. There's
Right.
something that I took away and I can't give it back, but maybe this is one way I could do a little bit. I can't bring a life back, but maybe this will help other people not do things what I did.
No,
You
of
know what I
course.
mean?
Of course,
Because
it already is your testimony, and just you speaking about it in the book and the platforms. Everyone when you speak, homie, and tell your story, everyone gravitates and really like takes it to heart, bro. You know what I mean?
we
From what
all
I
we
see,
all
you
went
know?
we all went through. Trust me, when you talk about the '90s, we all went through some. There's a lot of neighborhoods that saw the violent tempo. There's so many neighborhoods that had the green light or have it right now or just got it last week or MS or the Fifth and Hill or Opal and Rose Hill or 18. They've all had it on and off. Everybody knows, brother, that is nothing nice. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would ever want to have it. We're not praising it. We
Right.
embraced it because that's who we were. You know what I mean? Um, but it's not so you wish to have it. No, 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 no. And I don't advocate that. I named my book Greenlight because that was catching. That's what it is. That's what I have. But I'm not trying to like brag about it or anything. Um, Everybody that has common sense knows when you put a name like that, it's because that's what happened to me. And it happened to me when I was young. I was what, 15, 16 when they put a green light on me. I was a minor. You know what I mean? I didn't know any better. I
Right.
didn't know the gravity how severe this was going to be. It took lives. It took a lot of lives. A lot of my boys passed over this war, over this on both sides, you know? Um, and I can't bring them back. And maybe this is gonna live on forever, brother. I'm gonna go one day, but this is gonna live on forever, you know? Um,
That part right there. Give them the name again. Show them the book, and so they can go right now and just when you see that cover right there, you know what it is. But tell them the title of the book.
so the title of my book, I named it Greenlight California Prisons. Um, I could have named it Lowell. I could have named it my neighborhood or something like that. But it's not about my neighborhood. It's about me, what I went through, and my neighborhood has a part in it because I went through it. You know what I mean? Um, a lot, a lot, a lot. I got one of my boys right there. He's saying, "Yeah, a lot of my boys passed, man. That they we miss them. Badass, every one of them from young. There were some that were 15 when they passed, 16. There's some that were 19 in the county jail, got, murdered. Um, and I miss them all. I love them all. I always send my love and respect to their moms, to Stranger's mom, Flacco's mom, Shorty's mom, Priest's mom, Ragu's mom. I mean, man, their parents or their siblings. We have a lot of homeboys that passed away, like Solo, Happy. I grew up with Happy. He I still communicate with this family. I bump into them and I post pictures, and sometimes their family members tell me, "Whoa, I remember that. I remember my brother," and it's like it's a good feeling. It's a mixed emotions. But
Right.
I always try to keep that respect because it was a loved one that they lost. I lost a friend, but they lost a family member, and that's deep. And we were all close at like we were tied like family. We still are. I still consider their families my family. you know
Right.
and I'll protect them like I said, that's why I don't say last names. I'm a little smarter than to just put somebody out there like that.
Right,
So
right.
that's why in my book I just name nicknames. You know, the nickname the hood gave you. You know what I mean? Because you put a first name and a last name, you know, it's just not good.
Facts, facts. Let me see. So, anything? Let me see. What else did we need to touch on? It was some. Did
So,
we?
so touching the project of a book, I
Hmm.
want to touch that because
Okay.
maybe there's teenagers or somebody older that like Big D. I heard his story, and I
Right,
was
right.
like,
Shout out to
man,
Big D, man. Where you at, Big D?
maybe
Oh,
he
he said
should
he had
write his
issues.
book. You know, his story. It
Right.
could be it could be compelling to somebody else. It could be a learning experience for somebody else. But it's not easy writing a book. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'll just write it." And no, first of all, you got to orchestrate what you want to write. You become a businessman because you got to sell your story to the publishing company. It's not just like you wrote a story and they're gonna publish it, or you need an editor. I my editor should. I feel that I'm gonna have to when the book's going good now, so now I could like edit it again, and I think it could be the grammar should be. I'm not just gonna put all the flaw on the editor, but I think it could have been done better. My second book's done terrific. That one's the grammar I learned from the first book. You know, that one's coming out in a few weeks. The Red Light California Prisons. This one I learned how to sell it out. I mean, but and not everybody's gonna like what you write. But again, it's my story. Um, I'm writing it to the best of my ability on dates, facts, documentation. Um, it's not a nonfiction book, you know. I mean, it's a nonfiction book where you just add what you want to add. No, so there's things that people had came and attest
Right.
um, to what I've wrote because one little thing could just make your book fake. And I'm gonna give you an example. I wrote things that maybe some of my friends might not like, right?
Mhm.
But there's people that can attest that that's what happened. Might not like that I put it on there, but it happened. And I stand by it. Every word that I wrote. Maybe I shouldn't have put some things. And you got to believe me, when I edit it, the book looked un- thicker than this, and I took a lot out. You know, um, but there is a lot of people that.
Did you have an editor or someone like after you wrote your own things, your own words came back, told you do this, clean this up, take this out, or whatever the case may be, or did you pretty much
So I
have
went.
full control?
So I talked to a lawyer.
Hmm.
The reason why I did that is because let me see. Looks like my battery is going low on this. Um,
It's all good. We'll wrap it up in a couple minutes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So where was I at? On the
but you got a lawyer.
the reason why is because I has to do with you know what I mean, my crime.
Hmm.
I wanted to make sure nobody's gonna come and sue me. So what I did was to cover all bases. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give monikers to those of the opposition because first of all, I'm not gonna name them because then they're gonna be like, when you write a book, you're like dropping dime. No, so I'm gonna write the story and I'm gonna change the names um, the better. So I said I'm gonna change the names of that just because I don't want to have that legal people. Oh, I'm
Right,
gonna
right,
sue you for this because you said
right,
that.
right,
No, no, no.
right.
So I'm writing what I seen. I'm attesting to what I wrote and incidents that have happened. We've already did time for, or it's documented that it happened, or like an incident that I had on my street where I fought. There was multiple cats there that can attest it did happen.
Right.
One of the cats on the other side said, well, you didn't really beat up 3. You only beat up 2. So I said, okay, I'm going to take you out of the story. And I say, oh, I just beat up 2 in the block. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be to the best of your ability with times, dates, and everything that you say and who was there. And like my crimey was there for most of the part that I was going through in the county. So he attested to a lot of stuff that happened that way. You know what I mean? Court transcripts on crimes. I went through court transcripts. It's out to the public. There's stuff that came out in the news. So a lot of it is documented that way. A newspaper, my crime came out in a newspaper. So on the El Sereno Star. Some
I
of the
really
other
appreciate that you're going to length, or whoever is going to length to, like you said, to match everything up and make sure it is authentic, because I'm sure a lot of people can just print a lot of lies, you know what I mean? And how are the people to know, it's a lie or not? You know what I mean?
Right. So when I say I've been to these prisons, I have an interview with you, and then all of a sudden there's comments. Oh yeah, I did. I was time with him, and da 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 da. I was there with him, and here. You know what I mean? Somewhere in the shoe with me, and they said, "Hey man, I thought that this was fake, but it really did happen." But to answer that to the best of my ability, the way I wrote the book, it's as accurate. And I was talking yesterday. I was talking to Chino. They've read the book. They've seen all the interviews, and they're like, brother, everything that you put on there. And I put some stuff that I got in a fight with him. And he's like my brother, you know what I mean? I grew up with him. And he told me, man, that's they should make a movie on it. And I'm like, I don't want to jump to that right now. I want to write my books, get that out of the way. And if it does, brother. You know what I mean?
I definitely could see it, bro.
But the content the message has to be right.
Right.
And that's why he says, man, it has to be about you. And I said, yeah, well, the story's about me. It has to do with my neighborhood too, but it's what I seen. And I can't attest to other stuff. You know what I mean? If
they said, do you have any family in AZ? That's Carlo Alvarado. My brother's named Carlo. They said, do you have any fam in AZ, Arizona?
You know what, man? My dad was a philanderer, brother, and they didn't know joke. I have family and I have other.
I guess because he has the same name as you.
Yeah. No, I have a cousin named Carlos Alvarado. He's out in actually his name is Juan Carlos. He's in New York. I have family in New York, Maryland, sisters in Maryland. Man, my dad had a couple of girls in the same block, man, that were friends, my mom's friends.
He said the same block, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, no,
wow.
Yeah.
No, that ain't funny, but I was like, wow, Pops was cold with it.
Yeah, he was, man. He was one of them playboy dudes, man.
Yeah. It's all good. Shout out to Pops. Yeah, so
hey, I want to give out a shout out to my mom.
Definitely go ahead, bro.
Ma, te quiero mucho de puro corazón. Gracias por estar en mi esquina. Let her know I love her from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being in my corner. My brothers too, man. You know?
Yeah, shout out to your bros in the barbershops, man. I think they're what's it, Elmani and where else? Shout out to your brother. Yeah, the Dream Team, man.
E-Rock, the barber. Oh, he gave me a chop today. I went to a shop, he gave me a chop. He said, nah, you gotta look sharp. He knew I was coming. He was here a minute ago to wish me well.
Much love, bro.
He said to tell you what's up, G.
Much love, homie. Much love, bro.
Man, he's working hard, man. He got a lot of clientele, you know.
Yeah, that's good, man.
He chops it up. He's kind of like a counselor, man. You know, he's got to hear people's stories. And I go to him for advice.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, barbers hear it all.
He's my younger brother, but he was out here for more years than I am, so he's more mature, you know?
Right.
And so I go to him for advice. He gives me he sees things in a different way than I do. So I thank him, man, for being there. If I call him, he's there for me. You know, hey, when you have time, give me a call. I need to run something by you, or I'm having trouble with something. You know.
Right, right.
Yeah, even though he's 12 years younger than me, it's like if he's 10 years older than me. Shout out to him, Rock.
Hey,
My brother, my little brother Gio too.
when you were locked up, hey, yeah, when you were locked up, just briefly, because we're gonna wrap it up. But briefly, going back when you were locked up, were you worried about your little brothers out there in the streets or getting
I
involved
was
or what they
because
were going through?
yeah, at first I was because they were still living in the hood, right? And they were living in the other side.
Hmm.
So man, I was like, I hope they don't get involved in all this because I already knew what I had coming, all the struggles, And thank God, man, they never got involved in all that. They know people, you know what I mean, from all kinds of other neighborhoods or whatever, but they've always kept it sports, and now they're barbers. They're known barbers.
Right.
One of them, my youngest one, he took best barber in California.
Wow.
He won a
That's what's up,
contest.
bro.
Yeah, he won a
Wow.
contest at I think a sports arena a couple years back, and
That's
now
big, man.
E-Rock, he's stepping it up in his game. He's got multiple offers to go to other barbershops, but he's loyal. That's one thing. Loyalty is
Yeah.
loyalty, and I
Yeah. That
respect him
takes
for
you
that.
far. That takes you
Yeah, he,
far.
he who gave him an opportunity, he stays loyal to him, and the dream team, man, you go in there, it's like family, bro.
Hmm.
Man, you go in there, you have a little, I don't want to say, a little
Right, right,
drinking
right, right,
and you
right,
little
right.
therapy and you get
Right.
chopped up, you come out a new man,
Right, right.
you know. But
That's
I
what's up.
also want to send a shout out to Focus, man. He did a photo shoot for my third book for the Yellow Light, and that should be next year. But I want to take my time because I'm gonna
Yeah,
rewrite
that
that
was dope.
story. I want it more intense. The second book coming out, the narrator changes. I narrate the beginning, and then my brothers narrate, and then there's an uncle that comes to play at the end. He narrates, so you see it from different angles. My story, even the villain, I named her like my wife. She's the villain, and so I fall in love. I'm gonna give you a little spice so you guys could be like, what?
Mhm.
But I fall in love with the Russian in that book, and they almost boycotted my book
Mhm.
because the war. So they're saying, man, this guy writes controversial books, so we're gonna let it slide. So, brother, I wrote it a year ago. You know what I mean? So just to give a little bit of spice to it, I had wrote this a year ago. I ended up falling in love with the Russian. I know, brother, but it's a fiction book. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I'm not trying to
Do
make
you
a
like
point.
writing fiction over now that you did that? Do you like fiction over nonfiction?
Uh, you know what? I want to write different styles
Right,
and then stick to something that I really love and what people ask for, I'll stick to that. But I
right, right.
also have this other book that I had started a years back called The Airplane Boy of one of my nephews that I got halfway done on that one. But I want to write different things. And one thing that I do want to mention, if they're talking film or something, I want to be a co-writer. So I want to start learning how to write scripts so that I'll be a co-writer.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. Do you have or did you have somebody to lead you in that direction? Like, how did you like even now, like learning to write scripts and things like um, who do
So
you look for things that?
there's people that have got at me the download. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
mention their names. They're in Hollywood. They want to mentor me, and I'm more power to it without asking
Right,
for a dime or anything. But they
right.
just want to see more of our people coming up and being writers. And I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn, and whatever struggles they had, if I could learn from their struggles, I'm willing to absorb every knowledge, brother. But there has been people in Hollywood that had got a hold of me and touched me and gave me advice, and I'm willing to take it. But like I said, I want to focus on this story first, and my quest is to change lives with the story. You know what I mean? Money's gonna come. It's not
Right.
about that. It's because there's been people that will tell you without even them paying for it. I've sent them the book ahead of time. They're like, bro, you already sent me the book. I said, I told you.
Right.
It's not
Right.
about the money. It's about the
Right.
message.
The message. Yeah.
And
Like you said,
yeah,
the money will come.
there's some people that are struggling, bro, and tell me, man, I don't get paid till. Don't worry about it. Send me your address. I'm gonna autograph your book. I'm gonna send it to you. And you know, it's about keeping it real. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
about putting
Right.
my story out there. That's what counts.
That part.
But I want to thank all them loyal. You know what? There are some loyal followers, man. They can't wait for this interview. They couldn't wait for other interviews. They're already talking about when am I bringing out the t-shirts. The Let's do this,
you
do
gotta
this.
you gotta bring the apparel now.
You know what I mean?
Even the
Now I got to
merch. The
start thinking
merch.
and marketing that,
Yeah.
marketing the books, the sales. I can't. My family did ask me about the book signing. That could be kind of like, putting myself in a spot where I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
about
yeah. No,
using the word.
I know what you mean.
You know
I
what I
know
mean?
exactly
So,
what you mean. Yeah,
so I'm gonna careful on that. You
yeah.
know.
Or you
Uh,
can make it if you do it, make it exclusive, like via like for only. And you don't want to make it like that, like you're excluding anyone, but make it to
right.
certain fans or people at least that you know that have really supported or that really, you know what I mean. And you can make it
Right.
like an exclusive event. You know what I mean? Something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know
Yeah,
where
but
you
I'm
sign
very
the
careful
books.
on that. There's some people that already had the book, and I started autographing the bookmarkers for them. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Sending them a bookmarker and a sticker. I made some stickers. Some were asking me to put them in their helmets, so I
Hey,
made some stickers for them.
hey, hold on. Speaking of, because I meant to ask you this earlier, because someone said Green Packers. Speaking of the Packers, you guys just
You wanted to bring that
re-signed Aaron
little.
Rodgers, but in exchange, we the Raiders got Devontae Adams. So what do you think about the Packers moving forward? You got your quarterback though, so you're
That you
good.
know what?
And
Without
then Tom
without
Brady
him,
comes back. Go ahead.
without him, it was a loss for us.
Right.
Having him, man, that's he's a smart quarterback. As far as Devontae, they were a perfect duo,
Yeah.
but he was a perfect duo in Fresno as well. Ironically, we're talking about Fresno,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would watch their games. They're awesome together. I don't know if now in the NFL is going to be the same like Burrows over there and what was it in for the
Joe Burrows.
Cincinnati Bengals,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're a good duo too, right? They were in college together, so I figured, hey, maybe it's going to be the same here. But as far as us getting two draft choices, that's pretty good because they're going to go
Nah, you
after
guys will be okay. As long as you got
they're going to go
Aaron
after
Rodgers.
receivers.
As long as you got that quarterback, man, you guys will be right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
glad
it's more of a
baseball's
win
back.
for us. It's more of a win for us getting Devontae into the Raiders. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah,
We
you guys
need it.
are set with the team already.
Yeah,
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 defense
so
and offense.
yeah. So that was a
Hey,
win. That
that's
was
my
big.
second home, Vegas, man. I love going to Vegas.
Yep,
I'm already
yep.
making plans to go in a few weeks and
That's
go
what's
back.
up. The homegirl Denise said, I'm ready for my quiz. Okay, yeah, because I did say we wanted to ask. I want to give a book away. So we're gonna ask a question. Anyone out there who listened to the whole interview, I'm gonna let my homeboy Bandit ask you guys like anything, Bandit, that we could quiz the people. It ain't gotta be too hard, but something, lets us know they listened to the interview, over the interview, a question or anything you want to ask the people like that could win the book. Any question or anything that we talked about tonight.
Okay. Where where am I collaborating with Marvelous to go and speak to?
Oh, damn.
We want to go out and collaborate or speak where?
That's kind of hard. I don't even remember that one. But whoever listened tonight, you heard the question: where is Bandit and Marvelous going to speak to, and when and
Well,
where?
we want to. We're in the process of trying to
Oh,
get that done.
Denise is ready. Denise is ready tonight. She said Juvie Hall, Juvenile Hall.
She's right.
Do we have a winner? We have a winner. Denise Castillo. She's from Orange County. She was ready tonight. You know what I mean? So Denise gets the book. So you're gonna get an
Thank you.
autographed book.
Thank you for listening.
Yep. And the homie's gonna tell me where to what we're doing, the homie, how I need to wherever you want me to send it. And he's gonna autograph the book. We need to get your info, Denise.
But
Um
don't put it on. Don't put it
no,
on
don't
right
put it
now.
on here. No. You have my IG, so send it to my IG or the homie's IG, or just send it to me and I'll make sure he I'll
I want to thank all them people that have been buying the books. I mean, it's been in Scotland, Australia, um, Mexico City. They've been, man, Amazon. Through Amazon it goes everywhere.
yeah.
I asked for the price, how much it cost them in Australia. They said $69.
Wow.
I was like, what? But
All right,
yeah, man,
Denise.
a lot of people in Texas, a lot of people in Washington, Utah,
Mm,
all over. It's word's getting out there, and I'm glad. I'm thankful. Thank you guys for supporting my story, my book, and
welcome.
if you could pass it on to the next person that might need it, pass it on. Thank you, thank you for all the supporters, for those that have kept it real. I laugh at some of the comments when they say about my weight. I started working out, fellas. Watch
Uh-oh.
out.
Uh-oh.
Watch
Uh-oh.
out.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm lifting 220 right now, but I'm gonna
Uh-oh.
get back in the ring,
That's what's
you
up.
know. But
My
my
boy.
godson just walked up. Hi, Mel.
What's
Um,
up, man? Well,
thank you,
boy, I
thank
guess
you, thank you for
we'll wrap
having
it up.
me.
Hey,
I
I think we got to do it again. We may bring a part 3 because I think it's just a little bit more, but I don't want to, it's late, you know what I mean? We're not going to keep you guys up, but I think it's a little bit more we still can touch on, but then I just love the homie coming in here, just great conversation. So, we'll do it again soon, homie. You know what I mean? Maybe when you release the new book.
for sure.
Yep. And
So
the audio book. We didn't talk about the audio book. Briefly tell them about
so
that and when
they've
is
been
that coming out?
they've been there's an audio out right now on the intro in chapter 1 already. Check it out. I mean, I also want to get mines together and do it through Amazon, but right now there's one out already. And also tomorrow at 6 o'clock, Cinemills is throwing a different type of interview. We did a little different thing, so I try to hit
Hey,
different
they're big
subjects.
over there. I love what they do over there. They interviewed a few people, and they're real professional over there, man. Great, looks like a beautiful studio. Shout out to Cinemills. You're doing great work over there,
Also,
man. So I'm looking forward to it.
Also on Wednesday, I go with Javier Incredible. He was there. I don't know if
Javier.
you had a question earlier. I can't see none of the questions, so or else I would have hit some of them.
Right,
But
right.
if hit me on the DM or follow me on Instagram, I'm on GreenlightCa.Prisons. Pass the word on my book, on my story, on the G-Lew. I mean, thank you for having me, and hopefully, yeah, we do hook up again. It's always awesome, man. Thank you. I'm
Yes,
grateful
sir.
for you. I'm grateful for you putting the
Yes,
word
sir.
out on my book too. Thank you. Yeah, you've been very professional. You and your crew, man.
Much love,
Chamash
brother.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
And D
man. As
man,
always.
I hope D will have me next time. Big
That's
D.
right. Big D, yeah, I don't know. I think he had issues or something. He was supposed to join us, man. But shout out to Big D. You know what I mean? I know he's out there supporting. So much love, homie.
Yeah.
And be on the lookout for our new show, me and Big D coming this Monday. Let's talk about it. We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. We're gonna bring Big D's wife on, talk about her story. You know what I mean? She did time in prison. So be on the lookout for that Monday. And don't forget Sunday, Odie's Roof for Rubber Sundays. Me and they love. So check it out. Much love. Thank you again. Follow the homie. Let them know where they can follow you, any platform, anywhere they can get in touch, anything. Let them know all the handles, homie.
Yeah, you could just go on my Instagram and click on there, and it'll take you to the publishing. If you want to get a book through there, or DM me if I have a few more books to autograph. I have Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, but on my page you'll see where you'll be able to click to get the book. And if you guys could put the word out for me, I would appreciate it. Um, Thank you for supporting. God
There it
bless
is.
everybody. Have a good night.
God bless. Denise, you got your book coming soon. Thank you, everyone who joined us tonight. Much love. Shout out to our sponsor, Street Level Clothing, our producer, DD Hairston, and all the people
D
out there in the
Hairston,
chat who
thank you.
supported. Yep. Much love, everyone. Peace and love. Have a great weekend. We're out. Thank you again, homie.